The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another hot episode of HBCU. It's your boy Pooh. I got my man Ant Petty Murphy in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
It's been a day. It's been a day.
I heard that, man. I heard that. Man, what a we almost there, man. Celebration Bowl. Less than 48 hours. It's like I was looking it up. It's like 30-something hours left, man. Celebration Bowl. I was laughing at Erica was posting about her journey and said she ran into a FAMU guy on the plane, said he took off work for a funeral.
Dang. Let's hope it's not a funeral. I hope it's a good game and not a
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. Our man BJ is supposed to be joining with us tonight, man. I got a few things I want to talk to BJ about, man. Talk about this. We got to talk about this coaching stuff, man. It's getting wild.
Chaos.
But
it's crazy. It's I kind of feel bad for the FAMU and Howard because all the talk has been about the coaching carousel and all the chaos and the SWAC West.
I feel bad for G.
Really been talking. Oh man, it's been a rough week for my boy, man. He done been through the whole range of emotions this week, man.
Man, he going through it, man. It's too funny, man. I'm looking forward to it. We got to talk about this Florida Beach Bowl, man. Last night,
yeah.
I was very impressed. Not just with the play on the field, but a lot of things. The production wise, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, I'm gonna say this too. I'm thankful I have somebody like you who monitors my tweets at times. Because obviously everything my grandmama used to say, everything come up don't hate to come out.
Yeah.
I be wanting. I just want y'all to know it's a lot of stuff I want to say. God ain't through with me yet. It's a lot of stuff I be wanting to say, and I be like, "Hey, should I say this?" And be like, "Nah, don't do it." I'm like, "Okay, all right, well, I hold off." So, obviously, everybody ain't got somebody like that in their life, but we'll get to it.
Chill out, man.
We'll get to it. All right, man. Y'all know what time it is. Gotta give a shout out to our sponsor over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag will be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, we are back. I guess we can go ahead and get started here. Florida Beach Bowl last night, the inaugural Florida Beach Bowl. This is actually, I mean, it's the first Florida Beach Bowl, which is going to be a competition between the SIAC and CIAA. Not necessarily the champions, because we know that both champions ended up going to the D2 playoffs. But I think they said like the best available teams will participate. So with that said, like last night we saw Fort Valley State versus Johnson C. Smith, and Fort Valley controlled the game from jump. Um, hold on, man. All right, we might be without BJ, man. I think he's still caught up, but it's all good. But Fort Valley controlled the game from jump. They scored early. Then the rain came, and the game got sloppy on both sides. So they ended up going to half up 16-0 on touchdown or 2 touchdowns and a safety. Then came back. I think the final score was like 23-10, if I'm not mistaken. But let me ask you, initial thoughts on the bowl game, on the Florida Beach Bowl.
Man, I thought it was pretty good. The weather kind of came and dampened the product on the field, pun intended. But
See what you did there. I'm a little slow tonight.
two good teams, man. Good atmosphere. Like you mentioned earlier, good production. Overall, I think it was good. I enjoyed it. I think we need to see kind of more promotion leading up to it. I think to kind of get the word out there a little bit more, so the viewership numbers can go up a little bit. But I mean, overall, I was pleased with the product.
Over 760,000. Wow.
Yeah,
that was, I mean, for inaugural game, D2, I liked it. I will say this. I said production, the picture quality, it was raining. I couldn't tell it. I couldn't.
It was kind of grainy looking because of the rain.
Yeah, I couldn't tell it was raining at first until like they started zooming in. I was like, oh, that's when I noticed. I was like, okay, oh, it really is, because they were talking about it. I'll say that the announcers what one of the most hated was on there. Off script. Great job. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give credit where credit's due. Great job.
He did a good job.
A lot of people hate on him. Well, I ain't gonna say hate on him. A lot of people don't like him and some of the things that go. He did a phenomenal job with the commentary. They were accurate. The way they were talking, they knew the game. They knew the players. They weren't just, number 9 with a missed catch. The quarterback. Hey, Heisel Smith. How do you say that? They weren't doing all that. It's like they knew, like they cared. I put it like that. You could tell this was I'm trying to think. This was more of and something I always tell people, make it look like it's a passion and not a last minute homework assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it looked like. And it was a great great showing, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As you said, on the field, production, all of it. This is I want to say, I know this is going to be kind of bad terminology. This is a spinoff of the Pioneer Bowl, I guess you could say, because it was they did the history as well. Started off as the Pioneer Bowl, went away, came back as the Pioneer Bowl, then it shifted from D1 to D2, then it went away, and now it's back as the Florida Beach Bowl. So, but I think they definitely got it right this time.
Yeah, man. I think they definitely thrilled with what they got as a product. And even with the weather, it was still a pretty good as well. So I mean, overall, you definitely got to say it was successful.
Another thing, got to see the bands. That was another great thing that I love seeing. So
You got the full experience.
yeah, it was good. I don't know how big the crowd was because I think it was, like you said, advertisement. Um, uh, and when I say advertisement, man, just like getting the word out, period, about this.
Plus the weather.
Plus the weather. That was another one. So yeah. But kudos, major kudos. Me, I have to, if I'm gonna go full Keith Lee, watching the game, production, 9.2 out of 10. Play on the field, 8.9 out of 10. Overall game experience, I'll give it a 9.8. Definitely look forward to next year. Yeah, but I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna tell you what it did though. It made me I was looking forward to more football.
Yeah, it kind of got me more ready for the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. So Celebration Bowl is the next big bowl game, or the last. It'll be the official end of HBCU football for the season. So definitely looking forward to that. 11 o'clock ABC. And y'all make sure y'all tune in. Right now, I forget I think the viewership numbers. I'm praying that this thing can get to 2 million in viewership, because I think that's what it's been in the last few years. If it can be 2 million, maybe even 3, because some people have been kind of taking shots at the HBCU, but I mean at the HBCU games and viewership and stuff. So I definitely would love to see that get to, like I said, 2 to 3 mil viewership. Next up, man, on this docket, Southern got their man. We were on, shout out to From the Hill podcast. We went on there Tuesday, and we talked about this game. This game. We talked about this hire. Southern hired Terrence Graves. Coach Graves recently served as the interim head coach during the Bayou Classic, in which he is now undefeated, 2-0, as a head coach, coaching for both sides. But Terrence Graves was the hire, and I know we talked about it on there. But let me ask you this: initial thoughts of the hire.
Man, like I said on From the Hill, I think it was a good hire in terms of he brings what they need at this time. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a steady voice. He's gonna help reestablish the culture. You know what I mean? The players will kind of buy into what he's selling, and I think he'll help get them in the right track as far as rebuilding this program to where they want to be. I mean, when you look at what Dooley did, you know, he kind of underachieved based off expectations. But now you got a guy who can come in and who can kind of tear it down to the studs in the sense, not the roster necessarily, but the program as a whole, kind of get back to what they used to do, kind of the old Southern way. You know, he's been in Southern before. He knows what it's like coaching there. He knows the swag. You know what I mean? I think it was a good hire.
He mentioned in his press conference nearly 30 years ago when he came in with Coach Richardson, under legendary Coach Pete Richardson. I'll tell you what I initially thought, and I said this on From the Hill. I thought, although I think it's a good hire, they fumbled again. Hey, somebody got to get fired.
Hey, I picked up Vegas defense for my fantasy team.
Good job.
Just because Justin Herbert was out, but I didn't know they was gonna do all this.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I think the Chargers they ready to get rid of Staley. But back to Coach Graves. I initially said I thought this was a swing and a miss. meaning everybody knows. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody knows. It was no secret. Chennis Berry was number one, was target number one. I don't know if he if he came down for an interview. I don't know if they got a chance to present him with an offer or anything like that. But that was all we ever heard from from most people from Southern, most of the fans. I didn't talk to many insiders. And the ones that I do know, I didn't even talk to them about who they thought about coaching and stuff, because everything I had heard was Chennis Berry. So went on that. When the announcement was made that it was Terrence Graves, I don't know how many people initially reacted. I reached out to a few people who are alum, and every response I got was, I know him personally. Great dude. I'm so happy for him. I don't know if I was necessarily looking at him to remain as the head coach, but I think he'll do well. He's going to serve us well. And Hitman said he should definitely get more than 2 years. I think he will. For one thing, I think he's definitely a culture fit. I think he knows like you said, the Southern way, what Southern needs. He knows the heartbeat of that program. So I think it was a good hire in that sense. Wins and losses on the field, that'll come. But as far as keeping this team together and things of that nature, I think it was a great hire. What he does around him with his staff, that's another thing I'm gonna keep my eyes out for, because yeah. So that's another thing I'm gonna keep my eyes out for. But as of right now, like I said, I was a little shocked, just because, like I said, I knew, it was no secret who they wanted. So, but I still think it's a good pickup.
I agree, and at the same time, like Hitman said, he should get more than 2 years. I think that's based off the expectations. You know what I mean? Like, when you hired dude, you saw what he was doing at Prairie View, and then you expected him to come over to Southern and do the same thing. Well, I don't think you hired Coach Graves with the expectation of making the SWAC championship next year. You know what I mean? You hire him with the expectation of kind of rebuilding this program and getting this program back on track. So I think expectations alone would kind of allow him to have more time and give him a little more leeway to do what he needs to do. But to your point about, I think his staff is going to be key. I think he definitely needs to bring in a good offensive coordinator, and just let him have free reign with the offense. I know, you mentioned KJ Black. We've heard other names being mentioned, Ted White and some other names being mentioned, who are some good offensive coordinators. So they're not necessarily for the Southern job, but just names we've heard mentioned who are back in the coaching ranks. So if they can land someone like that as their offensive coordinator, then I think he'll be off to a great start in his tenure.
Yeah, I don't want to get in rumor mill much, but I do know. Well, I ain't gonna say. I have heard reasons why a lot more coaches weren't necessarily looked at, or they were looked at in contact and talked to, but for various reasons.
AD Banks came out and said a lot of them wanted too much money. I mean, when I was talking to one of my homeboys, and that question came up: Do you think that they couldn't afford who they really wanted? Considering the buyout that they got to pay due and things like that. I'm not gonna say that, but I do think that money might have took some people off the board. You know what I mean? Whenever they heard what their demands or what they wanted to be compensated was. So I'm not gonna say the only reason they got Coach Graves is because they couldn't afford who they wanted, but I do think money played a factor in who all they were after.
Yeah. Now this is funny. Hitman says, I think he can do great. Probably won't be FAMU, but I can see them competing in the West. That's hilarious. But man, it's the West itself is wide open. Coaching changes. We talked about it. This will be a brand new head coach will meet next year at SWAC Media Day. Another coach we've seen him, we've talked to him, not hadn't necessarily interviewed him, but I don't know if he's gonna still be at be at where we know him at to be at. Coach Fred McNair. It was reported that he accepted a job at Texas Southern.
Mm-hmm.
He has come out and denied it. He's talked with his staff, says, I am still the head coach at Alcorn State. Our man G fighting for his life over there. That man been putting out reports, trying to talk ball, but he said it last week when we had him on. Ball's in Coach McNair court. Alcorn still wants them. They're offering and everything. And it's funny how things can change in a year, because there's a lot of people trying to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now here it is, they don't want them to go and stuff, which I definitely understand. But man, what are your thoughts? This whole Texas A&M, Texas Southern pulling off this heist, if true.
Well, I mean, you know what they say. Texas got money. I think that's what it would boil down to ultimately, in my opinion. But honestly, I kind of want him to stay at Alcorn, just because I think that they would really have a shot at making the Celebration Bowl next year.
I can agree with that.
So I kind of really want him to stay there, but at the same time, I understand you gotta do what's best for you and yours. You know what I mean? Like, and if that's an opportunity you can't pass, it ain't like you're going to a, you know what I mean, a terrible situation. You know what I mean? If you can convince Andrew Body to come back, then you definitely working with something. So honestly, I don't know what to make of it right now. It seems like every 10 minutes is another report saying that he's going to the other school or staying with the other school. So I mean, I don't know what.
Right now, only thing I can tell you, Coach McNair is most likely coaching in the SWAC next year, and he'll be in the SWAC West.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say anything definitive. I thought it was definitive that he was going to Texas Southern, then all these other reports came out. So until I hear something from Coach McNair, until I see a press conference, I ain't got to comment until I see a press conference.
Tell me about it. Like I said, man, this situation changed quick.
Yeah,
his situation's changed quick. He like I said, last year we knew what the conversation was. This year he came out. Look, I'll say this: he looked a lot more energized. I know they were talking about he was tired, he was gonna give it up. He looked a lot more energized. He looked like he was ready to coach another 10. And the changes made felt like he was making them to stay at Alcorn.
you would think.
He's yeah.
I don't know.
If I gotta put money on the man, Coach McNair will be coaching in the SWAC weight this year. And that's what we're gonna leave it at. I think he'll be. I don't know. I'm with you. I would love for him to come back to Alcorn, but yeah. Like Chuck say, he heard the rumors. He wants to see the press conference and the John Hancock.
Right.
Like I told G, you better get a blow dry and make that ink dry fast. So, but yeah, that's that one.
I don't know. Don't even ask me. I don't know. I don't know, bro.
And
10 days. Travion Scott said 7 to 10 days. And then he came in 7 to 10 days, he came out with the search committee. He must have meant in 7 to 10 days, I'm gonna drop the search committee, and then 7 to 10 days after that, you're gonna get the coaching hire. So like
I told you, I told you what I think it is. Grambling, when he put it out there, he meant 7 to 10 business days.
It's been past that shit. Point.
Holidays was in there too. You gotta extend it. He had some PTO or something. Them days was rest. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh man,
quit
playing.
I think it's all right. So this is what it's just my opinion. I think they was gonna go Ed Reed.
And the backlash.
And they got a lot of backlash from the fans and the alumni. And they might be trying to let it die down a little bit, then announce the hire. But I don't know. I've been hearing other names though, so I don't know. At this point, I gotta wait till I see a press conference.
It's funny to me. Grambling is I'm trying to find the best way to put this. Grambling gets in the way of their own success at times.
I mean, I can't argue with that.
The question was asked on other shows. I don't know. Khalil asked us. I think Khalil may have asked us here or just off the air. But did they fire Hugh too soon? And I don't know if we've actually talked about it.
I mean, I answered the question.
Yeah,
I think was that on.
That I know From the Hill asked us too, but I can't remember if Khalil asked us.
I mean, I think the two things can be true, right? Like, yeah. I think you could say he was fired too soon when you look at the fact that the team was improving from year 1 to year 2. And then when you look at bringing Miles Crowley back and what you could do going into year 3, I think you can make the argument he was fired too soon. But at the same time, I think you can make the argument that if it ain't a fit, it ain't a fit. And it's not going to be a fit in year 3, year 4, year 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not a fit somewhere, time ain't going to change that. You just not a fit. And so I think that was the case with Grambling. I just think Hugh just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Lionel. He said that all these schools taking all day to hire somebody, they all obviously had Chennis Berry or bust.
That's big facts. I don't listen. I don't know any. I don't have any inside information on what's going on at A&M with Coach Maynard, but I believe this is how their outlook on it. He's got one more year left on his contract. We can wait it out a year. You know, if he improves, okay. If not, we don't have to pay anything. And we can move on. Grambling, I think they were in a situation where they didn't necessarily have to pay a buyout, but I don't think they also had anything set in place for.
Yeah, I don't think they had a real plan.
If he leaves or if we let him go, this is who we're gonna, replace him with. At this time, all you have is John Simon. Happy belated birthday, by the way, Coach Simon. All you have is Coach Simon as your interim. Some people say that he should get a shot, which would be interesting. That both the interim coaches had for Southern and Grambling had the tags removed. But
you want to know what's interesting to me? Both Travion Scott and John Simons both went to the same high school.
Yeah.
And maybe not at the same time, but they both went to the same school. So you would think that there would be some kind of relationship there between the two. I mean, I'd be cool with John Simons getting the job.
I think it goes to the same thing, like same things we said about Coach Graves. It may not have been who you wanted initially, but I think it's he knows the way of what Grambling wants in their team, and he can keep the team together.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you need to signing day is less than a week
Wednesday.
away.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you handcuffing your next coach by waiting this long to hire him.
Big facts. Big facts.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What since you brought up Alabama A&M,
Okay.
what's your thoughts on the tweet?
I'm gonna take one of your quotes. Two things can be true. I think what Coach Taylor said was it was absolutely true. Completely true. But it's true not just at HBCUs, it's true for any school that's not on the FBS Power 5 level. I've heard coaches say, if you come here, we can get you ready for the next levels, no matter what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. I've heard people say, "Hey, we've had success with players," and they name players that were at their school and then transferred to Power 5 schools or G5 schools, or however you want to look at it. It's being said. He said the quiet part out loud. Should he have said it? No, absolutely not. Do not put that on there. The internet is forever. He deleted the tweet, but it's everybody. People screenshot it. Knew it's. I think it was like I said, completely true. Wrong time to say it. Shouldn't have said it. Yeah. What about you?
It's a bad look, bro.
That's another thing.
While there may be some truth in the fact that kids go to HBCUs and then have an avenue to a bigger school, so to speak. We've seen that in the past, but it's a bad look to be basically using your recruiting pitch to say, "Hey, come to HBCU, and then we'll get you ready to go P5." You know what I mean? Like you basically using HBCUs as a feeder program to all these Power 5 schools instead of making HBCUs the end destination. Why not just say, "Hey, come to HBCU and we'll get you ready to go pro. Come to HBCU and we'll get you exposure so you can be seen by the scouts." You know what I'm saying? Like
Completely agree.
you made the Power 5 school the destination instead of the HBCU. You basically treated HBCUs like some Power 5 prospects treat junior college.
That's
You know what I
exactly what
mean?
they. Yeah.
I'm gonna go there for a year or two, get my grades right or whatever the case may be, and then I'm gonna go to a Power 5 school. That's what you just basically attributed. Attributed HBCUs to be.
Yeah. If you're A&M, Tank Dale, Ibrahim, what's the other guy? Allure. I think that's his name. And I can go on. Those are just some of the notable names that pop in my head. all pretty much came to A&M, had a hot season or two, and went on the other play. Tank Dell is until he got injured. Tank Dell was a star.
Cutting it up.
Star. He was probably one of saying top two for rookie of the offensive rookie of the year. But again, like I said, he got hurt. And when you see something like that, when you see players like that, and then you hear this tweet, I understand his sentiment because it's like he's facing his reality.
Yeah,
but you don't have to say that.
More of a reality.
Say that again.
Do you want it to be more of a reality?
No, I mean, you know don't want
like. So yeah. Why? I understand that might be his reality, but at the same time, like you putting it out there is just gonna open it up for more people to do that.
That's why I said it's two things can be true. I think that's his reality. I think that's their reality. The problem is you don't say the quiet part out loud. You don't. It's. And as your boy say, PV versus everybody, I don't think you can build a successful program with that mindset, though. Agree. D-Lob, don't think he had to say it, but let's try to do better and change it.
Try to change HBCUs to become the destination where kids go to a HBCU instead of saying, hey, we know you want to go P5. Start making HBCUs where they want to go.
Yeah. And then you had, when you say stuff like that, and then it's not sports, but it's kind of along the same lines. The young lady who came out today with, or the video clip that's circulating, what she said was, she was looking at a HBCU in Atlanta, and she saw how I was. She's like, "This how y'all living?" I thought we were supposed to be living this HBCU. You're supposed to be living your luxurious HBCU life. She said, so she ended up going to a PWI. And when I saw that, I thought that was it's terrible, because I've been to different dorm room. Well, let me rephrase that. Let me slow down, because that might come off wrong. I've seen several different campuses and how the dorms look at several different campuses, whether it's PWI, HBCU, or whatever. And most of them that I've been to, well, no matter what, are nice, but they all look like a jail cell anyway. They so small, you cramped in there. So, or the apartment styles now, they still look small. I mean, it's not like you talking about a luxurious life. That's crazy. But anyway. You want to go ahead, read that comment?
Yeah. My boy say, let's be real. While Dion was here, was this the convo? Why does it need to change because he's at Colorado? Then he said, North Dakota State don't have that mindset. It's come here and go to the league from here. Bingo. I think that's true. I mean, when Dion was here, it was Power Fives. Power Fives, you don't have to go Power Five. You can come HBCU and do everything you can do at a Power Five HBCU. Now all of a sudden it's, well, come here and go to the Power Five where you want to go.
Terrence Roberts brings this up. FAMU is using Bell, Smith, and Land to show that HBCUs are the destination. I'm gonna add another lane to that. Cordell Thomas. We know him from his days at LSU. He's at FAMU now, getting his shot and doing damn good. So I love the fact that we are seeing this now, seeing that these players are coming to HBCUs as you said, and as everybody's saying, as the destination. Yeah, I hate what he said. I understand why he said it. I think what he said was accurate. I think that it can be changed.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you. FAMU, South Carolina State, don't need to groom you for your Power 5 programs. Buddy Pugh would never. He wouldn't. It's several coaches. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to affect many things. I tell you what, it's what we just talked about. This being the last year of a contract. That's something you definitely didn't want to, saying have come out, and Coach Manning ended up having to come out and make a statement. So that was, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. That's a good question, D-Lob. Let's take this in. So D-Lob asked, so what are the top 3 things we need to do to make HBCUs a destination for top recruits on a consistent basis?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, because Terrence got one of my top ones.
NIL money.
Okay. NIL money. What else?
Exposure.
And Terry says, and to be honest, HBCUs are getting a lot of publicity right now. HBCUs have plenty of ESPN games.
Is ESPN games enough?
No. I mean, we're getting ESPN games, but they're ESPN Plus. So technically, you're still out there, but you do want to see more what's called. I'll tell you another thing. The third one, improve your product on the field.
Yeah, my third thing was gonna be facilities.
That's that.
If you want to get some of these kids to start coming to HBCU, you're gonna have to start being able to compete with some of these G5 and smaller P5 schools when it comes to NIL money, when it comes to facilities, and you're gonna have to have more exposure. And exposure doesn't necessarily have to be ESPN games. It can be getting a better social media presence. You know,
bingo. That's big.
It could be, you know what I mean? It could be getting your highlights on ESPN more. You know what I mean? Or getting stuff played on First Take or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to compete with them or be on the even playing field with them. And once you start doing that, that's whenever the product on the field becomes better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You talked about NIL money. It made me think.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What's that?
Better training for medical is one.
Yeah. Golly, it slipped my mind because it was somewhere when you talked about money and we're talking about training. Not training. I can't even remember. It's gonna come back to me though. I think the training definitely. I would love to see more of development from your skill players, wide receivers especially. A big reason why a lot of wide receivers, although they may be talented and stuff, they get hit is their route running. Route running is big in college. And it can be something as simple as the way they drop their hips, or the way they like foot placement stuff. It's stuff like that. It's the small details that separate a lot of times where a kid actually gets looked at and gets a shot and can be considered a quote unquote developmental player, or a guy who's just going to be on the practice squad, or even get an invite. A lot of times it's just those small little details. If we can get that kind of training, that'll be huge. So Hitman says Kamara Stevens left us for Jack State, and he's doing Jacksonville State. Because I know somebody might think Jackson State, but it's saying he's done fine But if he would have stayed, he would have been getting serious consideration for the league due to Bell, Land, and X-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ron Jad Williams got a good point. HBCUs need better quarterback play. That would be a lot more exposure. I think true too, though. And honestly, if we want to be honest, you got to start playing. You got to start playing games against some of these other FCS schools to where you can start showing that your level of competition is where, you know what I'm saying, where you need it to be at. I mean, you playing against, no disrespect, but playing against Edward Waters and Miles and Lincoln of California and all these kind of schools, it looks good for your record. Well, unless you're Alabama State with Miles, but you know what I mean? It looks good for your record, but what does it prove to these scouts? You know what I mean? What does it prove whenever you could go play a Stephen F. Austin, or you could go play, you know what I'm saying, a Harvard like Howard does, you know what I'm saying? Or you can go play some of these different type of schools. Yeah, you know what I mean? You can play these different type of schools and you can show that your level of competition is on par with those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's definitely yeah, that was like I said, Grandma, you said everything come up don't have to come out. So I don't even know where that tweet even came from. It was like so random. And it was like, I guess it was like a recruiting pitch or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah. As mentioned, man, we do got the Celebration Bowl coming up. What's good, Doc? Hold on, Doc. Sitting at the dock. Doc, go ahead and hop up. Golly, they scored again.
Everybody.
Say what?
So you sent that to everybody.
Yeah, I put out there. Yeah. We ain't got a what's called it.
Oh, I'm finna be blocking people.
Nah, I ain't gonna. We'll be able to see. D-Law said, I wonder if P. Daddy gonna give another $1 million. Nah, he gonna save them for legal fees. Chuck, I'm suspicious about Lincoln University of California, just like I am about Virginia University of Lynchburg. I still hadn't read the full story on that, and so I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, that's a very interesting topic in itself. They hung 42 on these boys in the first half, bro. Staley got to be gone tonight. Tonight.
That's wild, bro.
Pack your bags. They might leave him on the tarmac. Celebration Bowl. We even talked about this ad nauseum.
What?
Say that
D-Live
again.
over here preaching. I said D-Live over here preaching. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Ooh. But yeah, I was saying Celebration Bowl has been, we talked about it ad nauseum. I was hoping like having BJ on kind of talk a little bit more of the X's O's. That's what we hadn't talked about. We've talked about, saying who we think can win, saying this unit might do better, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be close. I know we talked to Erica and G, they gave their predictions. We gave our prediction on From the Hill podcast. Do it on here. Give me FAMU 27-24. Matter of fact, and I want to add something to that. FAMU comes back in the fourth quarter. FAMU comes back from down 2 scores in the fourth quarter and win.
Ooh. See, I got it going a little different. I got FAMU winning 27-21. But I got FAMU jumping out to an early lead. And then Howard coming back. And then FAMU scoring a late touchdown to win the game.
Gotcha. I don't think that this is a runaway for either team. I think it's gonna be a hard fought battle. Both teams will be able to, you know what I'm saying, pick something to take apart, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. You got anything? I don't know. Like I said, we didn't talk about the celebration ball at Nas. You got anything else?
Nah, not on that. I think we beat that horse enough.
Yeah. D-Lob dropped this in the of course you don't think it's gonna be Ron Jab said, I don't think it'll be close. Of course you don't. But here we go. D-Lob says, I wish all of our schools can at least do cost of attendance. That can help lure players away from other FCS schools.
Bingo. Giving them just a little bit of money every semester, man. That's why, like the NIL deal, if you had cost of attendance, you might not need an NIL deal. You know what I mean? Because they're getting a little change either way.
Yeah. I like it. What else we got? You got any basketball news? HBCU basketball news?
I was just looking at some of the scores.
Alabama State fought a close one yesterday and ended up losing to LSU. Alabama A&M had UAB in the house and had it close and then ended up losing that one. D-Lob, you'll want to be here on Monday. Definitely be here Monday.
Grambling lost to Drake tonight. Not a rapper neither.
What was that score? Because I
68-56.
Oh, okay.
And then Howard won last night against somebody named Regent. And
never heard of her.
Stony Brook beat Norfolk State. And then on Tuesday night, Central beat A&T in a pretty good game, 67-62.
Gotcha. I thought I picked that Grambling. I guess I didn't. I was trying to. Grambling said what was it going 68-56?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not bad. They were like 23-point underdogs in that game. So somebody put up early. I did see matchups you want to see in like HBCU college basketball, men and women. And our good man Kelly had a good one. He had 2 good ones.
I want to see UAPB women versus Norfolk State women.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, he put UAPB in women's UAPB versus Jackson State.
We should see that though.
No, he's saying like games we're looking forward to this year. I guess okay. I explained.
I was saying like games that you wish you could see.
Oh yeah, my bad. I explained it wrong. So
yeah, that's gonna be a good one though.
Yeah, and on the men's side, Southern versus Jackson State.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Man, you can't sleep on Texas Southern though, bro. Johnny Jones.
Oh, no, definitely can't. Because they'll find a way to win. They'll go into the tournament 10.
They'll find a way to win the tournament.
Yeah, 10-13 or something like that, and win the tournament. Now, if we talk about matchups that we would like to see that aren't necessarily on the schedule,
I wouldn't mind seeing Howard versus Jackson State.
Men and women.
Men.
I was thinking Howard versus since you said Howard versus Jackson State, I'll stay away from that. Norfolk State versus Southern.
I wouldn't mind seeing Central versus Southern in basketball.
Okay. Speaking of, we mentioned Norfolk State. We ain't talk about it though. Situation with Norfolk State versus Illinois State.
Yeah, I don't know too much about what happened. I saw the headline, but I didn't read the story.
Okay, so I did because I read the story and then also watched the videos that with the interview with the head coach for Norfolk State. I went blank on his name just that quick. Basically, is at the end of the game, Norfolk State player Thomas. He had just scored, I think, and was getting ready to go to the line, and he was over on the sideline, like across from the benches and the scores table, and the fan were kind of going, saying back and forth, and he said the fan called him N-word. Referee was over there. Yeah, referee was over there and kind of, referee kind of tell him, hey, quit talking to the fan, get over there. He kind of told the referee what happened. The referee was like, okay. He's like, hey, you just go over there. He went over there and told his coach. And you can see them if you watch the video, you can see the moment he told his coach what was happening. And the coach immediately got mad and started walking on the court and was starting to walk over to the fan. And the referee stopped, blew the whistle, stopped him and stuff. And then he went over to the other coach, to Illinois State's coach, and was telling him what was said or what was being said. And I think he said the Illinois State coach was like, I don't care. And that's when they got into it. And both coaches got technicals. After the game, Illinois State coach talked, he said, he apologized and stuff and said basically he didn't realize what he was saying to him.
Yeah.
What he was telling him happened. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but stuff like this happens way too often. But he says he didn't hear what was said to him. He just said, I don't care. He said he definitely cares and stuff like that. And they should have had the fan removed or whatever. Chuck brings up a good point, says Norfolk State and Illinois State basketball game indicates the toxicity that still exists in our society socially.
Yep.
Yeah, so BJ has said before, we did our Super Woke episode, talked about how sports is a microcosm of our society. It's terrible that happened, that interaction happened. It should never happen. There's no place for it in this sport. There's no place for it in this world. But I think Coach Robert Jones, I think this is. I got Google here. Why am I not looking it up? Hold on. There it is. Robert Jones. All right. Coach Jones. Thank you, Chuck. Coach Jones I think he did the right thing, in that situation. And I think that had he known or had he, I would like to think that had he actually listened to what was going on, Illinois State coach would have done the right thing too, and would have been just as irate. So
yeah, I would like to believe so too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's it, man. That's all I got for tonight, man. I don't know if you got anything else.
Nah, that's all I got for tonight, my boy. Looking forward
sir.
to this weekend.
I am. I'm gonna go ahead and say announce it. Starting in next year, we're gonna have to figure out get some of y'all on here as far as like fan calls and stuff like that. Yeah, let y'all interact, call in, say something. I will say this. Y'all ain't gonna get us canceled. I will click that button quick. We will click that button quick and get y'all up out of here. But No, seriously, man. We, definitely looking forward to that. So y'all stay tuned as we try to figure out how we're gonna work that out. But with that, man, I hope everybody who is going to the Celebration Bowl is safe, has a good night, or good safe travels. Day party, HBCU nightly day party. There's a couple more parties, but check them out. And I don't know. That's all I got. I gotta find my wish call. Here we go. Like that. We're out. See y'all on Monday. Coach Don Thornton to be on. See y'all Monday. This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.